Hey everyone, so this is a follow-up to the brake video that I did not so long ago where I was replacing the front brakes. As you can tell, we have a bit of an issue here, and this was mentioned during the inspection when I wanted to get the vehicle plated in Quebec. This is no good, they don't like it. I frankly don't like it either, and I need to figure out why my pad down there is not quite making contact with the rotor. I might have done something wrong. I need to figure this out, why the caliper is not sliding straight. So we're gonna go over this one more time and try to see what's causing this. So first thing is gonna be to just remove the dust from pretty much everything. I've got this deep creep, which is a penetrating oil. This is going to help removing the different nuts, because this is only part of the job that I need to get done. The actual job I need to get done is replacing the struts and the full towers, because apparently the springs are broken, both of them, as per the inspection. Certainly this one is not sitting right. It should be in the corner here. It's really not sitting where it's supposed to. So that needs to be replaced. I mean, these struts are pretty old anyways. I also have a problem with the link that's clacking. You can see there's corrosion pretty much everywhere. So I've got new links, I've got new struts, along with the new shock towers, the whole shebang. So I'm gonna put some penetrating oil up there, pretty much everywhere I can reach, along with trying to remove as much rust as I can using a wire brush, and I will continue the video in a moment. So the first step, we're going to start by removing this clip here, because we need to remove everything around the bottom, the jamb here. So we're going to be removing the caliper ultimately. So you want to lift this up ideally, but you can't really use this as a support. So I'm going to use a pair of pliers here. There we are. So you see, it's just a spring that slides in between, and that holds the clip together. There we go. It's out. Be careful not to break it. Well, that's what it looks like once it's removed. Okay, put this in my box here. So this now is free to slide up. There we are. Yeah, so that can be removed now. We have that's gonna actually make up some space to remove the bracket. We're gonna take this out as well. There we are. And take that out. And I'm gonna swing the caliper out of the way. Gonna take this support out as well, simply because it's pretty easy to take out if everything goes well. It's just 10 mil, I believe. Now this can be out of the way. It's no longer bothering us. Gonna put this on the side. The really interesting part is gonna be removing the jamb. So we're gonna go after this big nut here, which might actually go well. I have a breaker bar here. I think this is 18. Is it 18? Yeah, it is 18. Here's the job. Continue with my impact. Alright. So again, that was 18 mil. We'll continue with the removal. So that's just in preparation of the job I'm doing a little bit later. There's another 18 mil up here. In the column here, you can't quite see it. Rusty. I'm wondering whether I'm actually unscrewing it right now or not. At least it seems to be coming out. Now at the very end of this screw here, there is in fact an Allen imprint, which really is going to help in this case. Okay, mea culpa, folks. This is actually 17 mil, not 18. So this kind of bit is going to help a lot because it can go around and over the screw that's coming out. So I'll ratchet here. Okay, so this screwing, however, as I suspected, pretty certain the ball joint on the other side is also moving, because remember, this is a link. It's got a ball joint on the other side. So if the ball inside the joint is moving, you're not gonna unscrew this at all. So you're gonna need an open wrench like the one I had earlier, 17 mil, like this one. You put it there. This is 12 points, so just give you the leverage you need. Oh, there we go. So this is an 8 mil. Okay. I should follow my instincts sometimes. Okay, so that's remarkably untight. It's very loose, actually. And this one, I suspect it's gonna be the same. I shouldn't be able to remove that so easily. That's bizarre. Remove the spring. So now, in theory, I should be able to take that out in its entirety. There's not much of a lip here, so it should come out. There we go. Obviously, the rotor is moving along with it. Oh yeah, this is not moving well. I'm wondering whether I mounted this correctly to begin with. So we need to figure out why this caliper, which was brand new by the way, because when I did the brakes at the time, I replaced everything. Okay, so I got my little caliper hook, which is not exactly designed as per the specs, but this is going to prevent it from falling. So I got my brake pad here. Sure enough, the brake pad is not making much contact at the top here, at the front. In the very top of the looks shows a little bit of corrosion already. What I think is that it might not have made full contact here. It does actually have, and the surface is pretty flat, so I don't really understand why this is not making contact. We're gonna clean this up. Gonna leave this down here for now. It doesn't put too much stress on the wiring. And I have to look into this. Actually, we should look into the caliper, because I think that's could be what the problem is in this case. It's a bit of a shame, because when I did this, I mean, I did all this right already. It's been I thought I did it well. Well, yes, I didn't. I don't know. They should be traveling nicely, so I got a kit here to help push it back, see whether it's traveling the way it should. It's interesting to see that this is already kind of, see, there's already corrosion around the seam here. It's already damaging the rubber. It's not a super high quality caliper I got here. A bit disappointing, frankly. So I've got different adapters here. What I want to do is push it in and see if it travels correctly. That's what I'm trying to determine here. I think it will. Sure enough, piston is retracting. Probably can't see it too well, but yeah, it's definitely pushing in the way it should. That's good news. So that means that this piston is traveling correctly. It's actually good news. It doesn't actually really help with our problem, however. So we're gonna have to look at something else. Probably I would be leaning towards, so see, this one actually has two little dips here. So that's the outer one, and you can tell there was not a lot of friction on the outside here. So this guy is not working the way it should. And normally, and I got the same problem on both sides, by the way. Oh, actually the other side is not so bad. Oh, the other side is not bad at all. The technician told me it was on both sides. So this guy, so obviously my rotor is not in its right position right now, but this guy should be making contact throughout, and it's not. So I don't know why that is. So what we'll make sure about is that this is a little crusty right now on the at the very bottom. So this area should be lubricated. Turning oil. Okay, well, that wasn't too bad. This is one, and this is two. Okay, now this, the carrier, is out, and I'm gonna take that out. Well, reattach my caliper in its kind of storage position, because I don't want this to be in the way. So now my rotor is out. What I do want, yeah, so see, the other side is actually not bad at all, but it's on the inside, on the other side, that it's actually not making good contact, which is really odd, because that's the front brakes. They are the ones that are really under the most pressure. So see, this is very crusty. I'm not gonna touch that. I'm gonna remove the rust a little bit, but it's kind of pointless really. What I do want to get to is oh no, this is starting to break. I have a boot starting to break. Crap. Okay, it's gonna be work for another time. So from this point on, yes, I will need to remove the lower attachment for the link and the upper one. I know this one is really dead. It's really clunking on this area, and I'm gonna have to spread the knuckle here. There's a tool for that I just bought. It's very inexpensive, and it's gonna make your life so much easier. And yeah, so to that guy here, and the actual caliper itself, there are some areas that really need to be lubricated. In fact, I was surprised that there was no springs on those, but yeah, it looks like the front doesn't have any of these little springs that normally you would find in this groove. And I looked, and apparently there is none. So that means that the pad is fundamentally traveling on this using this. So remember, position of this is like this, and your pad is going to be traveling on top right here, right? So in order for this to be fully aligned, it really needs to be able to travel nice and free, right? So it's a bit rusty here, it's a bit crusty, it doesn't seem to be making good contact. I'm gonna clean this up the best I can, put some lubricant. So I'm gonna put some brake lubricant on this on both sides, and hope for the best, because I'm gonna clean the other side too. That's the inner pad that slides on this. As you can tell, it's really dry, so it looks like whatever I put there didn't really stick. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do on this. And yeah, I'll resume the video in a moment once this is all done. All right, so I'm gonna start working on the top here to remove the link. So this is apparently Allen. My Allen bit is not getting in very far, so gonna have to clean up the hole a little bit, and I'll see how I can get to that one, which will be a similar challenge. So let's see how that goes. So I decided to actually look at both sides at the same time, simply because the links, which this one is now loose, when you work on one side, you're acting on the sway bar, right? Because you're working on the this wheel was completely loose, and this was under tension because the other wheel was on the ground, and it was compressed by the weight of the vehicle. So if I wanted to really do something with this, I needed to really release the tension on the sway bar. This is not coming off easily, so I'm just gonna cut it. So I got a cutting wheel. I'm just gonna cut either behind the boot right here, or around the nut, but I'm cutting this. I'm not wasting time because this is attached to the tower, and I'm replacing the full tower anyways. Same thing on the other side. And now it really helps me because I can also work on both sides. I can pull on the steering if I need to twist the wheels. I'm gonna be able to look at the brakes as well on both sides at the same time, replacing both towers at the same time. This is gonna become a bit easier. Same thing here. I'm just gonna cut this completely and probably cut it at the boot right here if I can, and yeah, and go on with my life. It's gonna be significantly easier. So that's the plan. I'm gonna do this right now. All right, so I did use a cutting wheel, which actually worked out remarkably well. Now the link is cut. Really only took a few seconds, and I choose to do it through the boot side, and I obviously double checked the links first to make sure they were the right size so that I had the replacement ready. And now I'm working on the bottom here, and you're gonna need a tool like this. That's gonna make your life a lot easier. This is a knuckle spreader, so it's a little tool that you engage it in the opening of your knuckle, and then you screw in, and as you can tell, the little black thing is rising, and it's basically spreading the two parts of your knuckle, right? Well, it's spreading really the clamp open. So I'm just putting this on right now. It's hard to do everything at the same time, so I'm gonna put down my phone again, and hopefully this is gonna loosen up nice and easily. All right, so good news, the first one is out, and yeah, it took a little while of basically hammering on the hub here in order to make it go down, and using this little spreader, which really worked out well. The trick to this, if you want it to stay in place, is to hold it. See, there are two flats on either side, right? And this is a 19 mil wrench. So in order to keep it in place as you tighten, because when you tighten, you basically put some force on this little device and it will have a tendency to slip out of position. You hold it in place using a flat wrench, which I still have here. Yeah, it's right there, my 19 mil. And that actually worked out really, really well. So it's out, the inside is actually pretty clean overall. This is now out, so you can see it's, you know, I don't have a banana for scale, but it's probably about almost 3 inches inserted into this, right? So it's quite a long way. The little spreader is gonna really help you keep the knuckle open as you slide it out. Now I need to release the 3 screws. You access them from the top. That's what we're about to do now. So we're gonna remove the weather strip here. It's just held on by clips right here. Gonna remove the the wipers because it's held in position because of that, and then we will access the screws that are inside here. I will see how that goes. Hopefully it's not gonna go too bad. I would prefer removing the whole thing, although I'm not sure I actually have to. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, because see, I can access the three of them from here. I might not need to remove all this, in fact, which would make my life a little bit easier. I'm just gonna remove the clips. Okay, so 2 clips right here. I'll put that in the bucket. And I'm just gonna try to lift this up. It's very warm at the moment here, so it might actually suffice. I'll try that and get back to you to let you know whether you need to remove this piece or not. All right, so a bit of a setback here. 2 came out just fine. The third one is broken. Whoops. The third one is in fact broken loose. And it's not coming. It's up here, right there. And this sucker now is all rusted up, as you can tell. And it's really, I'm gonna have to hold it somehow with a pair of vice pliers, probably. Because right now when I turn the screw at the top, it's basically, it has broken loose the nut at the bottom. So this is not gonna come easily, and it's in a very tight corner. Can't really get to it. These nuts are not really kind of 8-sided. It's a bit weird. So I'm gonna try to hold this with a pair of vice pliers. That's a problem on those things when rust gets in there. So you might want to work at it. Unscrew, screw back, loosen the rust, unscrew again, screw back in, and go back and forth to try to break up the rust, because otherwise the nut can actually get loose, and if it gets loose then it's a freaking pain in the butt to remove. It becomes a lot more difficult. Anywho, I'm gonna try to work at it. Alright, so the tower is out. It's right here, along with the link. It took a bit longer, simply because I couldn't get the last bolt over there, so I ended up having to cut it, which actually worked out pretty well, but you have to remove the wiper on this side if you want to have the clearance necessary to really have the space to work here. So I pulled the wiper arm out, which was no small feat, frankly, because I had a little device to do this as well, which is called a wiper arm puller. It's right here. And yeah, that thing didn't work. It bent out of shape actually already. You can see it's slightly open when it should be kind of parallel. This surface should be parallel to that one. So it's kind of garbage. What I ended up using is a ball joint remover, a tie rod remover, or yeah. And that thing actually did the trick. It's a lot more powerful. And I still had to use a bit of an extension to turn this and make it pop, but it worked out okay. So that was a small investment, but this actually did the job. Can't really see much here because it's getting dark. I'm gonna have to stop for the night. But everything is ready. So the the link is disconnected from here. The shackle is now the knuckle. Sorry, is actually free. The rotors are out. Everything is kind of clean as can be. So this side is ready to go. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. It's too late now, unfortunately. I'm out of daylight. I don't have proper conditions to work here. The rotor still has to go. I'm gonna do some servicing again. Same thing on the caliper. I just finished cutting the lower bolt for the link. So this is now free, which is good. This one was, it feels like it was knocking a little bit when I moved it. So it's gonna be the same thing here, removing the 3 bolts at the top. I'm gonna see whether I can do it without removing the control arm or the wiper arm, and then exact same process on this end. The biggest part of the job is going to be to remove this. I might start working on this a little bit and remove the dust, and so that I can get started early tomorrow morning. The good thing is that I can leave everything outside, and there's not a lot of people living in the area, so that's good. And hopefully the penetrating oil will have some time to operate. I'm just gonna take out the clip on this end. I did actually work in this area in the past, and yeah, it's there's a lot more room on this side than on the other side, so it's perfect. I'm gonna be working on this tomorrow. In the meantime, I will be putting some oil on these nuts underneath. I'm gonna brush them off using a little wire brush, which is right here, and I'm using this guy here, Deep Creep, working pretty well overall. So I'm just gonna continue working as much as I can since I have a little bit of light, and yeah, I'll continue tomorrow.
The next morning.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm just doing a quick video to show you the where we're at. On the driver's side, the new strut is in place. Everything looks good. I got my 3 bolts locked in at the top, so everything looks really good. This is inserted, I think, as far as it goes. I've removed the little spreader on the back, and if I have one piece of advice here, you want to make sure that the leg, the strut, is actually fully inserted. I'm using my jack here, my floor jack, and I'm raising the hub to basically put some more pressure on the bottom so that it inserts all the way. I had the spreader on, the little knuckle spreader on, the little red tool that I showed you in the past on a previous video. It was inserted in there when I raised the hub, because I wanted the bottom to be as open as possible so that it would slide in nicely. I also put some grease actually around this so that it would also help slide into the part. So that's done on this end. I'm gonna mount everything back. I wish I could have replaced the screens here, the splash screens. I don't have any, I didn't order any, so this is gonna have to be for another time. On the other side, I've seen my little red spreader there is still in place. I'm working at the bolts at the top. One came out yesterday night, the 2 others are pretty rusty. I'm hoping I'll be able to remove them. This doesn't have to come off because the whole leg is coming off anyways. The bottom I've sliced open, cut yesterday night. I'm gonna take the wheel off, not the wheel, sorry, the rotor off, the pad, everything, clean everything up, and put everything back in place. All right, so the second strut is removed. I had to cut 1 bolt that was in the back. It's not really easy to access. I went a little hard there. You can see the cut. A couple cutting marks, went a little deep. Nothing major, but I wish I would have prevented that, but the area is really difficult to reach. There's really not a lot of space, but at this point it's done. These bolts are hard, and you can see actually the type of metal that is used for this, and it's marked as 10, I believe, but regardless, they're really hard to cut. They are corroded underneath. I was able to take everything out. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit because it's not too pretty. What I noticed, so a couple things that are important. Number one, this is not sitting where it should be. It's at an angle right now, which means that it probably disengaged from the transmission arm over there. It's not exactly good news, but this happened to me on the other side. I was able to put it back with a bit of wiggling. You just lift this up and wiggle around turn it, and usually you're able to put it back. But this is not where it's supposed to be standing right now, and so I'm gonna have to look into this. Additionally, I saw that. Well, that is too bad, because I would have been in a good position to replace it now, since everything is pretty much removed. It would have been a lot easier. I might still try to loosen that one so that when I get to that point, I will be able to do it fairly easily. But this is difficult to do in your driveway, although I've done that actually in the past on my Jetta. You have 3 bolts underneath here. You have this big one here, and this usually is difficult to remove because there's an Allen imprint inside, at the very top, inside the shaft of the screw or the bolt, or the well, the tie rod, really, the not the tie rod, but the ball joint here. And it's the same as those, right? So they tend to spin when you take them out, and that's the reason why you have the Allen imprint. The problem is that the Allen imprint is right underneath the transmission shaft, so you can't really get to it. It's just gonna be another pain. This is dead though; it's completely dead, and that could be the reason why it was clacking on that side and clunking. That would explain a lot. So I thought I would mention that. I'm gonna look into the brake situation as well, clean everything up as much as I can. I'm a little bit tight on time. I have 2 hours left. I really need to get going on this, and I'm gonna put everything back together, and we'll be good to go. Oh, one more thing actually that I almost forgot. I wanted to show you the shape of that bolt, which is the one that actually holds the clamp at the bottom right here. Look at that, it's completely caked. And yes, I'm gonna clean this up as well. This is a triple square, but yeah, clean everything you can when you do all the things, because you know you shouldn't have any corrosion on this. I'll see whether I actually put some rust stopper on my brakes as well, not the rotors obviously, but the caliper in the carrier. But I'll see if I have time. All right, so I thought I would make a video of this. It's reinserting the new strut into the knuckle at the bottom here. Probably the hardest part. So I have my little spreader in the back here. I only have one bolt at the top, which is the one towards this end. So there's one here, one there. It's the one that's closer to the front right fender. Just to give me a little bit of wiggle room here, because I don't exactly know how it's gonna go. So I want to have this extra room. I know my transmission axle is back in there, so that's great. It's gonna have to probably come out a little bit. In order for me to get the clearance, I need to put this back in. So the way you would do it is basically you have to press down as far as you can, and you're going to be limited. At some point you'll see that your transmission axle is probably going to want to come out, and you engage this in and you straighten it out. There you go. So that's about how it goes. And what I do here at this point is I ensure that there's a little tab at the bottom here, which basically slides into the opening of the knuckle. You want to make sure this is obviously in line, and you have a line at the bottom of the strut here that kind of gives you a sense of a level. So that allows you to ensure that you're inserted in the space. Now you have to do with what you've got and make sure that your transmission arm goes back in. That's the challenging part. I'm gonna use my floor jack here at the bottom. Oh, this is actually, can't quite see anything here. Yeah, so I got my floor jack here. I will jack up my hub to try to get some bit of assistance so that the strut goes inside, which seems to be going well so far. There's a bit of resistance, which could indicate that the transmission arm is not really going in straight. It's inserting. There you go. You heard the clunk, so that's good. I'm gonna just release the pressure a little bit, see whether I'm inserted down there. That doesn't seem to be the case. I think I'm slightly off here, and this is the hard part. It's like it's gonna have to come out again. So this is the step that's the hardest, really. I thought everything was lined up. Clearly something did spin in between. I have to put my spreader back on, but it just needs to be done.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
There we go. It's out. Now this is free. It's disengaged. So I guess I'm gonna have to take it out completely the opposite way. Always a good idea, ouch, to grease the inside so that you're not
it's really painful.
I had this issue earlier and it took me a little while to put it back in. There we are. So that's its position. So it goes back in usually. It's the planetary system inside that needs to realign with so the inner joint there. So now the challenge is to put it back in and that it doesn't come apart again. Okay, that felt a little bit better. The key is to try not to change the position of your transmission arm while you're putting the strut back in. And right now it's not lining up nicely.
Oh, come on, man.
So with a bit of elbow grease, that should work. Yeah, see it's out again here. And that could be the reason why it's not coming in. In fact, is that the transmission arm is not facing the right way. Yeah, it's still not here. Okay, I'm gonna take it out again.
Seriously.
Okay, just want to make sure that I've got the right position for this to go in, because this is what's causing me trouble right now. There we are. Okay. So I know in this position, it goes back in. A lot of play in this actually. Okay, so now I can do it either. I'll do it from the front because I think that's the easiest way. Okay, so now it's popped out. Really important to try to keep this as straight as possible. I want to make sure, is it popping back in? Nope, there we are. Okay, so I'm gonna go down, insert it here. Is it back in over there? I think so. Yeah, I think I'm in. So now it's just a matter of lining this up. Still good. And I get some hydraulic assistance. Okay. And the key here is to lift it up so that everything comes in nicely. There we are. Okay, this is good. Oh, see how it just came down easily. So this is how I did it. It's a pain in the butt, frankly, when you don't have the right equipment. Now I know I can actually drop my jack and it's gonna stay inserted because the knuckle is still clamping it. So the hardest part is done. What you need to ensure at the top there is that your bolts are lined up, because otherwise you're gonna have a hard time putting these in. One thing that I noted is that these are the new ones and these were the old ones. Big difference, as you can tell. They're the same size, however, so I'm considering reusing some of those because they're good. I might reuse one because I cut one. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, this one actually I had to cut as well, but I didn't go all the way through. I actually managed to remove it. But on the other side I have two. So I'm gonna put these new ones. They actually have the same size at the bottom, as you can tell, right? So they're the diameter of the washer, so the part that's in contact with the body is the same. They're definitely a little thinner. I suspect they're good and that they're actually legit in terms of what should be installed on this vehicle. I will just trust that. I'm looking at the top here. I'm seeing that there's a tiny bit of, they're slightly misaligned, so I have to spin this a little bit. I'm going to turn the wheels. It's gonna be... The bolts are not, I can't really see them. I can see the threads, still slightly off though, and it's very tight. It's very hard because I don't have the roller to get some additional grip. There we are. That should work. It's easier to do if you have someone to help you out. Oh, there we are. So I'm facing the hole here at the top. Can't really see anything because I'm not showing it to you, but fundamentally I'm just trying to find the hole for the top bolts, and I have them here. Yeah, so at this point I'm gonna use my jack again because I need to raise it a little bit. There we are. Now the three of them are extending all the way through. They're all loose, which is good because that means it's fully centered. I'm gonna approach them. Okay, so this is size 10. They're all lined up, which is great. All right, good. So this is now centered. Gonna go back underneath there, put the bolt back on the knuckle, reattach the link, and yeah, we're good to go. All right, so one more note here. If you want to make sure that your strut is inserted all the way in, you should be able to see through that hole. If you do not see through that hole, your strut is not inserted completely and you will not be able to put the triple square bolt back in. And I'm gonna take a look at that side because I've got the feeling this one might not be all the way in. See? The little fin that's in the back here is actually an indicator also to make sure that this is inserted correctly. So we're gonna have to come back to this side after. I'll show you how to do this. It's very easy and it's very satisfying too. Well, looks like I'm not completely done with surprises. So as I'm just checking the caliper and making sure everything is kosher, I took the pins out. They're from last year. I just replaced those. I am shocked. They're all swollen, and that explains why my brakes had this uneven pattern actually on the outside, right? Can't quite show you, but fundamentally it's, if you look at them, there's a rim of rust on the outside, right here, and that's what's causing, the inspection to fail. They told me, hey, you have uneven wear, so I'm trying to fix all this now, but I would not have thought that the pins were the problem. Clearly they are. So I can't really replace those. I don't have them right now. I'm gonna just clean them up real good. Can't really clean up the holes because they're these rubber boots, so I'll make sure that they're just sliding in and out nicely, because that's clearly what the problem is. And I'm gonna have to check the other side as well. So I thought I would point that out. Always double check, triple check, make sure everything is the way it should be. We have a problem here. I might actually ultimately replace those. They're pretty easy to get to. So there, see, it's not over until it's over. Okay, so another little trick that I want to show you. If you have a pin that's damaged like that, what I do is I actually put it in my drill. So you can't always do this, right? Depending on the size of the bolt or what it is that you're trying to clean. But in this particular case, I have a drill that can accommodate a 1/2 inch, so can accommodate for that size of a screw. The bolt, just going to insert it in here, tighten it. You can't really damage it, but that also allows you to check whether it's bent or not, right? So once you have this in there, grab a piece of sandpaper and go at it. Until this shiny surface is visible again. Watch out, because it gets a little hot, right, as you do this. Okay, and then I have a smaller grit for finishing. There we go. Now my pin is back to its original shininess. And see, it was all bulging, and now it's back to normal. So I'm gonna make sure this is greased when I put it back in the caliper. I'm gonna clean up the outside because I can actually still accommodate if I put it reverse. Make sure the thread is clean, and yeah, I'll do the same thing on the outside. I've been using this trick for a long time. I thought this could come handy if you are still trying to find a way to clean this easily and quickly. There you go. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. See how fast that is, right? If you have a brush, then you can clean the thread. There you go. See, thread is clean. There's supposed to be some thread locker on this. There you go. The pin is nice and clean. All right, so I'm gonna keep going with this. Try to finish the job on time. So, as I stated earlier, we know that the strut is not fully inserted into the hub. So the best way to do it is to use your roller jack here, if you have one, and just lift the hub, and at some point you will be able to see whether you can clear the back here. And the easiest way to do it, check with your bolt, see if you can get through. If you can, which I can now, then you're basically done. Don't hesitate to push a lot harder until you see the gem going up, which is the case right now. I'm almost off my strut on my floor jacks here. So I think we're in a good position. I will double check one more time. Yeah, it's My bolt is a little rusty, but it's going all the way through, which means that I'm good. Earlier I had a very satisfying moment because it was resisting, and then at some point it went clink, and the strut went straight into the hub with a very satisfying noise. So that was pretty good. I'm gonna complete all of this now, complete this side, put the rotors back on, check the caliper, because I think, in fact, I can check that right away since the caliper is hanging there. I'm just gonna share that moment with you guys. So I got my caliper there, it's hanging, and I have my bit. So again, it's an Allen on this. What you want to do is just check whether this is free or not and do a physical check. This one is not too bad. It's got a little bit of corrosion. I'll clean that up a little bit, put a bit of grease on it, and I got the feeling that the other one might be a little bit worse. There's still grease on it, which is always a good sign. The other one had nothing on the other side, so clearly there was a problem there. Having a hard time getting, yeah, see, this one started to corrode again. So I'm gonna clean that up, and because it swells, right, when it corrodes like that, clean that up, and then put the brakes back on, and I'll be good to go. All right, so this job is now completed. It went pretty well overall. You do have to be mindful of the fact that some things can go sideways, especially in removing the old strut tower. I had to cut some nuts, as you remember. That was in the upper part by the windshield bay. So certainly this took a little bit longer than I expected, but overall it went pretty well. I actually took it for a ride already, and I can see some wear now, some strikes, which is good. That means that the pads are making full contact now with the rotor. That's what you want. So I dealt with two problems with this at once. I had the actual wear and the servicing of the brakes, which really you should be doing probably once a year or every 2 years at the maximum, especially when you have roads that are covered in salt during the winter. It really increases the chances of getting some serious corrosion, and the pins that you slide in, the guiding pins, the sliding pins here in the caliper, corroding and kind of swelling, and that would get you to this kind of situation. So certainly something that you want to be mindful of. Shocks, it was because of the springs. I had two broken springs on this car. They might have been broken for a while. In fact, I think when I bought the car, I was already hearing some noises. And the bearings at the top of the tower were also worn out. So certainly needed some replacement. I think the shocks on their own were okay, but the bearings and the springs needed replacement. So that's now done. On this side, I'm gonna have to replace this tie rod here because it is leaking, and the rubber is torn off. It's not unusual on cars of that year. This is a 2009. You can see the splash screen is also completely rusted out. I could have replaced that, just didn't order the parts on time, so that's my fault. That doesn't take too long. Just need to remove the caliper again, and the carrier, and then the rotor, and then you have access to the Torx screws to replace the splash screen. Not a big deal. So everything is connected, everything is fine. The car brakes really well. There's no vibrations, which is good. Suspension is fantastic. Even driving on a rugged road, I didn't have any problems. It was very smooth, no noise at all, no clunking, everything's gone. So that's positive. A quick round table of the tools that I needed to do that. So I have a 21 mil here that I used. I'm trying to remember what this was for, but I believe, well, this is gonna come back to me in a moment. But it was, yes, 21 is for the rear bolts that are holding the caliper assembly to the hub, right? So you're gonna need this. This is a deep socket. I tend to prefer those. They provide a little bit of clearance. You have some pipes and everything in this area, and brake lines, so that provides you with some additional clearance. You will need a 13 mil bit, right? And that's for the top strut bolts, right? So these are 13 mil. The ones that I put on, if you remember previously, I showed you the comparison between these bolts, the original ones and the new ones. They're 10, right? So they're smaller. But the original ones are 13. I couldn't reuse those because I had to cut half of them basically. So out of 6, I cut 3. So that's 13 mil. Now, if you want to remove the wiper arm, which I had to, this is also a 13 mil nut that's at the top, right? It could be difficult to remove. I would not have been able to remove the arm without this tool, right? Which came really handy. It's a bit of a special tool. It doesn't cost much at all, but it certainly helped, and it really allowed me to pull the arm and pop it out, because otherwise it's pretty much impossible. It was basically seized to the stud. Then on the side here, for the main strut knuckle, you will find 18 mil on the left. That's the nut. On the other side, this is triple square, 14 mil. Pretty common triple square on these cars, along with the Torx. Volkswagen are pretty notorious with the use of Torx. In fact, these little screws are holding the liners, they're Torx as well. You probably know that already. Then we find the top of the strut that are the top section of the links. The links are attached with 19 mil nuts, right? And that's the same size as the original. The Allen in the middle is an Allen 5. That's in the event that you need to keep the threaded rod from turning when you remove the nut. I ended up actually not having to remove the top one because I was replacing the strut as well. But for the bottom, I ended up cutting them, and I cut them on the exterior side. Right, so I didn't cut the nut. I actually cut right at the ball joint, which is you have to go through the rubber and then you cut through the metal. Went really well, actually. That wasn't any major concerns here or any major problems. So these are the things that you need. 17 mil, obviously, for the lug nuts. You're familiar with that. These would normally be Torx as well. The little set screws on the rotors. You might end up actually having to drill through them, which I did for 2 of them. I replaced them with the same type of screws. They're M6 1.25, but these are they're square, right? So they're posy. They're a little bit different. They're not Torx imprint, which is fine. Really, at the end, it's the same thread. I had to retap those though, because the holes actually were just too corroded, and if you drill through them, you're gonna have to take out the thread, the old thread of the old screw, and you might need to retap the hole. So I have a tapping set that I used, which came really handy as well. Additionally, what you absolutely need, in my opinion, is this little guy here, or similar. This is the little knuckle spreader. If I would not have had that, honestly, I think the job would have been pretty much impossible, because removing the jamb from the hub when you have corrosion, basically bonding the two together, it's pretty much impossible. It would have been extremely difficult, and I don't know how I would have done it, frankly. Just banging on the hub to take it down, 16th of an inch at a time. It could have done some damage, actually, hammering it down like that. But this was a $20 tool, I believe. This is going to save you hours, right? And I'll put the link in the description. It's kind of damaged now, but it's something utility tools or something like that. I'll put the link. Again, very handy. You use this with a flat wrench, 19 mil, an open wrench that you basically use in this section here. You see it's got 2 flat sides that holds this in position, and then you need another 19 mil bit on this side, and you can use an impact on this. That's impact ready. So you want to make sure you don't go too far, because really, if you look closely, you'll see that there's a little stopper here and this little horizontal bar, and it's already kind of, you see how it's bowing down. That's because as you tighten this, this is basically a stop, right? So it prevents from damaging the tool. So it's certainly something you have to be mindful of. So don't go too far, but even at this point, you're basically opening your knuckle by almost 3/8 of an inch, right? So that's far enough to remove the strut. So that's fundamentally it. Regular tools. You might need a 10 mil flat wrench as well if you want to remove the whole bracket here that holds the brake lines and the ABS sensors. Note that you have two sensors on this side. There's only one on the other side. That's for the pad wear is only on the driver's side, but you have your ABS sensor as well. So to remove the entire support bracket here, that's 10 mil. You don't have to remove the pin. Actually, as I showed you earlier, that's unnecessary. Just remove the whole support bracket and you'll be fine. Other than that, still need Allen 7, I believe they were, for the pins on the back of the caliper. I put those tools away, but I think it's 7. I'll confirm. I'll put this in the description. And for the Torx, you need to tighten this guy here at the bottom. I think it's 200 Newton meter. It's quite a bit. For the two, I think these are 200. Sorry, for the caliper. This is probably around the same, in fact. And for the brakes, the guiding pins, I think it's 30. They're not that tight. I will put the table again in the description. I'm doing this out of memory. I can't quite remember. So that's basically it, really. Not an easy job, but it certainly took me about 2 hours per side, and simply because I had some corrosion issues and I was also servicing the brakes at the same time, right? So count 2 to 3 hours per side. You never know how things are going to go. I still need to put a few things back with the weather strip in the engine compartment. I have them here. These actually, they don't break. They're just simple little sliders. Slide them on top of the weather strip. And yeah, that was basically it. I don't think there's anything else that I forgot. So I'm going to finish up the job because I'm running out of daylight. I hope this was helpful. If you have any comments, let me know. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now. So one additional note that I forgot. If you were ever wondering what the nuts were on the upper side of your strut, on the original ones, the ones that occasionally will come loose because of corrosion, because the bolt cannot really get through them. So remember, this is what goes on the other side of these guys here, right? These are on the top part. They go through the body of the car, and they screw into the top of the leg. Well, these are the inserts, right? And they go bad all the time, apparently, because of corrosion. I've read about this, which makes sense. I mean, you're gonna try to unscrew the bolt, and ultimately, as the resistance increases because of the corrosion and because of the body of the threaded part being all swollen and corroded, they will ultimately break loose, these little guys, and that's gonna make your life miserable. That's when you typically will need to cut them. I managed to remove one using a vice grip, like a pair of strong vice grips or vice pliers. I was able to actually put it in the tight space up there and hold it in position while I was working at the loosening up the rust. It did work out. I did end up cutting several of them, but if you were curious to know what this was, well, they're kind of 8-sided. They're not hex. They're not your typical type of insert, and yeah, I didn't have any bits to actually hold them in place, even with an extension or anything like that. So if you are curious, yeah, that's what they look like. So if you get stranded at some point and this actually breaks loose when you try to remove these bolts, yeah, vice grips, that might be your best friend, or you just cut the head. These are really hard, right? So you're gonna need a pair of you're gonna need a grinder with a cutting wheel in order to take these out. They're really hard, right? It's a hard metal. I covered that earlier in the video. Yeah, difficult to take out, takes a while. Be patient because you can do some damage. There's not a lot of space to work in that area in the windshield bay. I thought I would mention that, so just a quick note that I forgot to mention. See you guys.